Trading days, January 9th, 2016. The chart we're going to look at is a daily chart of the S&P 500, and what I'm looking on the chart is Mercury going retrograde and direct, a little history. First of all, there's two planets inside the Earth's orbit. Meaning there's two planets closer to the Sun than Earth, and they are Mercury and Venus. Now, that brings up something a little different for both those planets, and that is when they have a conjunction, they can have what's called an inferior conjunction or a superior conjunction. And what we mean by that is in an inferior conjunction, the Mercury is in between the Sun and Earth. So if we had them lined up, it would be the Sun, Mercury, and then Earth. If we're looking at the superior conjunction, Mercury is on the far side of the Sun. So the order would be Mercury, the Sun, and then Earth. So that's a difference. And the inferior conjunction, I've marked them on here with I's are inferior, and S are superior. And the inferior conjunction always occurs between or while Mercury is retrograde. So it's between the retrograde date and the direct date. Now, if we look at these, the history a little more closely, sometimes when, let's look at the retrogrades first. Let's go back to over here. So in this case, the retrograde, we were coming up sharply and it stopped almost to the day and went sideways and continued up a week and a little bit later. Here we've got a retrograde. It was coming down, and you'll see it was it kind of did a fairly big bounce right the day after. And here we didn't really do too much other than we put in a low, but we're kind of going up and down. Here we put in a top. Here we put in a top of this W bottom. So here's the W, boing, boing, boing. And we've got the high of the W bottom, in other words the high in the middle of the W bottom, was right on a Mercury retrograde date. And then we've just had one here, and the present time doesn't appear to have done anything. We were going down and we kept going down. So the next event to look at is the what's coming up here on forgotten the exact date, on January the 14th. We're going to have an inferior conjunction. Now if we go back and look at these, the inferior conjunctions, this was right on a low. This didn't do too much. This was right on a low, right on a low, kind of stopped an up move. The point here is these are pretty good turn signals, and we're getting one on the 14th. Just bear in mind we appear to be going into a very negative period, at least until the spring. So I would use that information in any trading you're doing. At this point I'll be looking for bounces or short moves up to short. Okay, that's all I wanted to say on this one. Thank you very much for listening.